What is up, everybody? It is Owen Shapiro. Today I'm going to talk about why streaming is the new drive-in theaters, and people should be more open to watching movies and streaming and on YouTube, while I do think it is the best place to watch in the theaters, is specifically that area. I also believe that streaming and YouTube and these other platforms are something that will come around and go. Okay. And so I think it's good that we have these platforms because I personally feel like if we don't have these platforms, then a lot of filmmakers will not have the opportunity to get their films made. And not only that, the filmmakers who are having their films go to streaming, they may not have as many people have them watch their films. Think about it. I'll get into this. So, news for today. Of course, we got the Jurassic Park film, that new one that just came out. We have Fantastic Four. Superman is doing pretty good. There's a little bit less drama with that, and everybody seems to be more on board with that. Of course, sports is happening. The new NFL season kicks off. I already gave my predictions. We have tons of craziness going on in the world, but I want to get to movies and my craziness with movies and my controversial picks and takes. So if you guys remember in the 70s and 80s, drive-in theaters were a pretty big thing, right? They were pretty huge. I mean, everybody was going in, they were going to see the movie, they'd go in their cars, right? And like streaming, it wouldn't make as much money, but at the same time, it was still something that people wanted to go see, and it was still something that people valued. A lot of people would rather go to drive-in theaters rather than go to movies in the theater. And look, it made money, but it didn't make the amount of money that movies in the theaters directly would have. But at the same time, some movies that would go directly into the theaters and not make money, they would make less than the ones in the drive-in theaters. So that means the ones in the drive-in theaters are at least the same amount or more valued than the ones in the theaters. And this is me as a person who believes that every movie should be in the theaters. That's my personal take, okay? Now, I feel like this is the same case with streaming. A lot of people are worried that streaming isn't gonna, it's gonna ruin, cinema. It's gonna destroy the whole society of filmmaking. This is the end of cinema. I think there are other things that are the end of cinema, but personally, I believe that streaming is just another drive-in theater. It's just a new way that watching films is transformed. Same thing with YouTube. It's a new way, and actually, I personally think besides that people are going to see a film right on their phone or right on their computer or right on their TV, I think this is good to get new filmmakers on YouTube, on these platforms, even if it's TikTok or Instagram, because at least we're getting to see them put stuff out. And I know a lot of the older filmmakers will say, well, you needed to work harder. Well, back in my day, I used to do all this to get my film in the theater and get all this to get my film the budget and stuff, which is completely justified. And I think that's completely correct. Like, I know. But at the same time, you got to realize today we should have the opportunity to get our films out there, whether it was difficult or not. I think every film should be showed. All right. So, example, if we showed a film in the theaters, right? Every film should be in the theaters. But if not, why not put it out there on YouTube? Why not be able to have it on streaming like Prime Video or have it picked up by a streaming service, maybe HBO Max or possibly Netflix? Okay. Why not? All right. I don't see what the hurt is for it. If you're so pushing for having movies in the theaters, if it can't get in the theaters, why not push for it to get online? That's another way to get the film seen, right? So look, I'm 100% movie theaters first, right? But my other opinion is that I feel there should be other ways to get your films shown, okay? It's not just the theaters, okay? The platform and the way you could availably actually see a film is more than just the theaters. Sometimes it's through other ways. Like, example, if someone would be like, hey, I want to show your film in this low budget theater, right? I want to show it. But the guys who run films, right? The directors like Scorsese and Coppola, they'll be like, well, maybe that's not really in a real theater, which is where I think we can come to a common ground. everybody wants their films in the theaters. But if you can't get it in the theaters, there should be opportunities like those smaller theaters, like streaming, like YouTube, like HBO and Prime. Okay. We should be able to have that opportunity. I think it's extremely important. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you look at it, like, films during the pandemic, if they had prioritized them on streaming, it would have completely, which they did prioritize them, but if they would have said no films in theaters, were completely streaming, right? I'm pretty sure we would rarely have any films in the theaters nowadays. But at the same time, not only would this make money, but this will become something where it's television, right? But that's okay, because if it's television, then it's going to go to YouTube. And if people are making films on YouTube, then the money economy, the economy will value films, will value social media, will value YouTube to have people put their films on there. So let's say Scorsese has a film that goes on YouTube. I bet you, if he marketed it for the streaming, I bet you if all these filmmakers marketed their films for the streaming, they would make the money. Not only that, their films would grow. They'd become something new. They'd find new ways to make it better and better. And once again, I'm movie theaters first, IMAX, the big screen first. But if there isn't a way to get it on there, there should be a complete opportunity to have it on streaming, have it on YouTube. So once again, everybody, if you want to make films, put it on YouTube, okay? I'm telling you this right now. YouTube is going to be a big thing for streaming. I think most films in 10 years from now, 15 years, they are going to be on YouTube. I'm telling you this right now, okay? That's where almost all the big filmmakers are coming from. They're putting their films on YouTube. Then they have the opportunity to make bigger films. Put your films on YouTube. Get them made. Have ways to get them to be the best they can be, okay? Well, just like Scorsese says, make your own industry. You create your own path. You don't have to tell people have people tell you what you're doing. Eventually, if you do that, people will recognize you. Not only that, you're making the films you want to make. And I completely agree with Scorsese on the big screen. I completely agree with my favorite director, Christopher Nolan, and Coppola on the big screen. I just believe there should be other ways to get our films out there on YouTube, or besides just putting them in AMC for like 12 weeks or 16 weeks. I think there should be other ways to do it. So anyway, guys, I'm your boy Owen Shapiro. I'm out. See you guys. Bye.